So we're definitely
Yeah.
giving you, the same output as people are accustomed to. And, if we don't, if I'll hand you your money back personally.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time on the channel, hit subscribe right now. Get ready to hear a lot about the up and coming rock band Empty. The young band is releasing their second album, and I sat down with drummer Ian to learn all about it.
Tell me if it's me you're waiting on, 'cause I don't wanna disappoint. Just when I falls through.
Ian, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Exciting times, because next week, at least when we're talking, the new album is going to come out. You seem very relaxed and mellow, but inside, are you raging with adrenaline, or what's the feeling right now?
We're all pretty excited. I know we're also playing like a release show for our record too. So I'm just really, that's my favorite thing, to just, show and share this music in front of the people. So a week out from now, we haven't played in a month, so I know we're all itching to get back out there, but I'm really excited for people to hear like a lot of the new sounds we have on this record, and some of the experimentation, because it's, not quite the same thing as the first LP, but we're stoked to get it out and see people's reaction. We've put out 2 singles, we're putting out another tomorrow, and the reaction's been pretty rad on it, honestly.
You're right, there is an evolution in the style. The band also evolved quite a bit from the previous work. Should we look at this album as some sort of a reset for the band?
I wouldn't look at it as a reset, because there's so many, we started as a band who is very into metalcore and post-hardcore, and you're still going to see that relationship on, I'd say, like half these songs on this record. Just, a little bit more experimentation, a little bit more influences from, some other outside genres that maybe we weren't incorporating before. But there's definitely still those moments for, if you like Empty, for what you've already heard, we still have that. And then we got some extra stuff that, hey, maybe you might dig too.
I'm sick of running, I'm sick of running, I'm sick of running, There's no winning.
Well, I mean, and one of the singles that was released as Temporary High, lots of great comments on that single. There were definitely some people that were like, hey, where's the heaviness that we know from Empty? Did they
You gotta
change?
you gotta have the light and the dark, even
Exactly.
on our first record. I think a lot of people even saying that, if I have an opinion on that, is that they've maybe only heard a couple songs by us and it may be the heavier one. But, on our last record, maybe half of it, maybe even a little more, had no screaming on it, was, singing. And then more of our singles kind of had that thing. So I think that's where it comes, out of people saying that, us not being heavy. But I feel like it's, a good light and dark. If you have a really light moment, it makes your heavier moments even more so, because, you're dancing with that, dark and light on it.
And, those people that have only heard that single, or maybe the 2 singles that have been released, will be, if they're looking for heavy, they'll be pleasantly surprised when they hear the full album. Because to your point, it's not that the heaviness of the band is away by any means. There's a couple of really heavy songs on the new album.
Yeah, absolutely. People just need to give it a full listen. Anybody who I come across who has something to say like that, come see us live. Come watch the art perform live, because it's a whole different thing. The record's cool, but, for what we're known for and the energy we give in our show, come check us out live, because that's where you're going to get the full Empty experience.
In the past, both the band, in interviews and just being yourself on stage, also in, some of the lyrical concepts in the past, the band was all about, almost like, a preaching of love and acceptance and high energy and positive energy. Is it fair to say that, if we listen and read some of, the lyrics and listen to some of the music, that this album, we see a band that is maybe got some has more, anger in them, or is dealing with more anxiety? There's different emotions coming out.
I definitely say with this new one, I mean, we've always been a band, like, we're there to have a good time. We're there to talk to you. We're there, we're not, there to put sunglasses on and act like we're cool guys. We're there to have a good time and show you a good time. So positivity has always been a big thing for us. As far as lyrical content, for this record, our vocalist Gary definitely chopped away at doing most of that. And I'd say for him, it was a very personal record, and I am really soaked on the lyrical content he picked, and even certain words he got. I was just like, this is a lot deeper. But I'd say the content on it is a lot more personal to him. But I think all the songs in general are really relatable to what, just because he went through that. I think a lot of other people can, feel that same sort of way on it, rather than before we may have been tackling like larger concepts in general social ways for songs. And it feels like on this record, it was a lot more personal in some journeys we had lived through and been through over the past couple of years of touring and relationships. So I definitely say it's a bit more of a personal record than our last one.
For a group of guys that are so, positively minded, if you will, it must have been a tough time in the last few years in the States specifically, where, the whole world had to deal with the COVID pandemic and feelings of isolation. And I think everybody, no matter who you are, where you live, had to deal with some of those darker, moments and issues with mental health, and that are seeping into some of the lyrics, as you said. And on top of that, it's been an explosive time in the last few years in the States. Is that heavy for you guys to deal with? Trying to be, seeing the positive in everything? Is that hard to balance?
It definitely is. I mean, for us, like, our home is the road, at least since we've started this band. And that's what we were accustomed, and that's what we were used to. And when that all kind of happened, you think it's just going to keep getting pushed down, and it did come back, and we've been able to go out on the road, which we're very thankful for and don't take for granted as much as we used to.
Yeah.
But it was definitely very difficult at the beginning. But again, us being who we are, there is positivity in that. For me personally, if I didn't have like that whole year off that we did, I don't think I would have grown as a person the way I did. I think I grew a lot as a person during that time to be alone. Otherwise, I would have been on the road pretty distracted with that day-to-day thing and not have the time personally. And so I'm really thankful for that time, even though, for me, it had been the first time I hadn't played a show in like a couple weeks since I've been like 11. And to have that time to really sit and, be with myself and figure myself out, I really appreciate that. And even with the lyrical content, Gary was able to cultivate that and sit there and think about it so much harder than, what we had done previously. And kind of a thing in our camp right now is, do the thing that's uncomfortable, because that's probably the thing that's going to make you grow. And you're going to go against the grain, but you're going to be better off for it in the end. And that's kind of the mentality we had like all 2020 with everything.
You mentioned it, the music on this album is a little bit more experimental. It's definitely not less heavy or more heavy than before, depending on who was listening to what song. But there's more going on. There's more influences than before. You guys are a three-piece. That can bring some challenges if you want to bring that to life on stage. All these new influences, some new sounds that we hear, how are you going to incorporate those life? Is it all going to be just some magic behind the scenes, or should we expect quite a different live experience from you guys?
I definitely say the live show, like if you've seen us in the past, it's still the same amount of energy. We just did a tour with our friends in Vagrants like a month ago, just, a little 8-day run. And that was a good introduction to what we've been doing. We did rock the three-piece on that tour. And it was a lot of fun. We're playing, half our old songs. And I'd say like 4 or 5 songs in our set are the brand new ones, and crowd reaction was awesome. And again, we're going to give 110% when we're out there, whether it's 5 people or 500 people, because frankly, we don't know how to play any other way, or we'd be lying if we tried to play a different way. So we're definitely giving you, the same output as people are accustomed to. And, if we don't, I'll hand you your money back personally.
Given the eclectic range of influences that you guys incorporate, that also means that you guys can fit in a lot of different bills. You can play with a lot of different people, different bands, and different genres, and you've done that already in the past. Do you see very different reactions when you play to different sort of crowds, or at the end of the day, do people tend to react very similar to you? Do you guys actively think about changing some sets around if you know that you're playing with heavier bands than with a little bit more accessible bands? Does that impact your choices at all, or are you just like, we're who we are, we're going to go full steam ahead?
We definitely mess with the set depending on kind of the billing that we're on, and sometimes even in the opposite way. For us, we kind of enjoy being the most different band on a bill, just to be like a palate cleanser for people, or it's like, hey, you've never heard this kind of music before, let us show you. And I'd say even when we're on something softer, we might play the heavier stuff to stand out. And if we're on a heavier bill, we might be the palate cleanser. It's like, oh, let's play more of our singy stuff because we're the only band like that. I kind of grew up going to a lot of DIY shows that had so many diverse lineups, where it was a ska band and a death metal band and a hip hop artist. And I was like, I really like all these musical tastes in there. So we definitely like being the outlier on a bill for sure.
There is a release show that you're planning. Are you planning anything special? And beyond the release show, what can you share already with all the fans of what's next for you guys?
We do something a little special each time we do a local show. We kind of keep it secret, so I'll have to keep my lips sealed on that one, unless you want to come out to the show, which tickets are selling fast for. But yeah, we're just real stoked to do that. Myrtle Beach doesn't have a huge music scene, but we're thankful that there are people who are stoked on us and come out and watch our show. So we try to do something a little special every time we play at home. But right after we do that, about a week later, we're going to be hitting the road with our label mates, Earth Groans. We're doing a 3 weeks with them, kind of West Coast, Midwest, and the Southwest for about 3 weeks. So that's what we got going on for the rest of this year. We are going to be announcing some more dates tomorrow along with our single, so be on the lookout for that. And you can just expect us, I can't say anything now, but you can just expect us to be on the road pretty much all year next year doing the thing.
Well, Ian, I want to thank you so much for your time today. It's super exciting times for all the fans when they can get their hands on the whole new album. It'll be very exciting for you guys to play all these songs live, or at least a set of those songs live. And we look forward to having you guys on the road. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me, man.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.